Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. This week we're going to recreate a technique of inlay which was started off in the 18th century. It wasn't used for very long, it was only used for about 50 or so years. But the technique involves in inlaying wood with this stuff. It's sulphur. Sulphur, as you may know, is a chemical element that is very abundant in the earth. It's the fifth most common element. When it's heated to about 110 degrees, it turns into a liquid form, and then it can be poured and it'll solidify, giving a nice light yellow colour. The idea with this, why we're trying it, is because it's something that we can hopefully do and finish within one day, because the curing time for this is just a matter of minutes. So I thought we'd give it a go. We're going to inlay it into a piece of sapele, because I didn't want too much going on with the wood. I want to be able to make the main focus on the actual inlay itself. The style of bowl, I want to try and create a shape I saw on the web the other day, which was like a red blood cell, sorry. So curved inside and out on both sides, and then rounded at the edge. So, two interesting prospects. We'll see how we get on. It's about ready for sanding. Had a small issue with the top here. We've got a crack down there, so I'll put a bit of CA glue in there, and we'll see what needs, if anything more needs to be done a little bit later. Right, I'm going to sand. I'll let you watch the start, and then we'll turn off filming for a while this gets sorted, and then I'll bring you back. Sanded up to 600, so we're just going to give it a quick going over with the isopropyl alcohol, just to clean all the gunk out the pores. One thing I would usually do at this point is finish the whole bottom, then turn it around and work on the other side. But the shape of this bowl especially the edges around here may need tweaking a little bit. So I'm only going to put some on the base to about here, and then I'll worry about the rest once we've got the rest of it done. I would normally put some sealer on at this point, but with this having a light yellow sulphur inlay, I want to try and enhance that by putting the gold highlighting wax on. Right, what I need to do now is replicate the shape I've got on the bottom around the edge, and then curve it in to the bottom like a platelet. I'm leaving some tailstock support on here for the moment, just because it's quite a big bowl for this little lathe, just so we're safe. Just noticed that the crack that I had on this side goes all the way down to there. So I'm just going to put in a little bit of CA glue and then sand it with some fine sandpaper, and hopefully that will push in the sawdust into the crack. Okay, I'm going to give this a basic sand first before I start cutting the inlay, just to see if there's any more issues I need to be careful with. still a bit more end grain to sort out, but I shall do that once we've got the inlay in. Right, I think we're about ready. So it needs to be delicate. I'm not going to do a great big thick rim of sulphur. So to cut the rim, I'm just going to use the parting tool. Let's just mark exactly where I want it. Let's get this side on it. That was the easiest inlay I ever put. Right, I'll get set up for this sulphur pour, and I'll bring you back in a second. Right, I think we're about set up. Got the sulphur, I've got a burner, I've got a pan, I've got the bowl, I've acquired a spoon from the kitchen. Don't tell my wife. I'm going to be using a mask. This place is very well ventilated, but I'm going to wear a mask just in case. I've got gloves on, because it can be a little bit caustic in its raw form. So I'm going to wear gloves as well, because obviously we're dealing with heat. So I think we're ready. All right, we'll light the burner. Actually, I'll put a bit of sulphur on first, and then we'll light the burner. Now, if this gets too hot, apparently, it can start turning brown. And smelling horrible, so I'll try and avoid that. So what I'm going to do is, when it starts to turn liquid, I'll wait for a couple more seconds, turn the gas off, then use it, and then redo that if I need to. It has a very, very low melting point. So I'm only going to put on a very low flame. We'll start to cook. My mask on, so I'm going to be quiet for a little while. I can already see signs of it starting to melt. Okay, so take off the heat there. Okay, let's see how this goes. It's starting to solidify quite quickly. So I'll just remelt. Okay, I'll just leave that off the heat for now. Turn this off. There we go, finished. I'm just going to give this a couple of seconds just to solidify. While that's doing that, I was going to find something to scrape with. Right, I'll tell you what, I'm going to throw this back in the lathe and just turn this back so we can see what state the inlay is in. And I'll bring you back in a second. We've still got the mask on. As you can see, we have had some partial success, but we do have quite a few gaps still to fill. And I'm just wondering if I can just touch them. As you can see, there's a few holes and things, and if I just touch it with the heat, I've just told it back to molten in those areas, just to help the inlay. Yes, it does. That can be handy. Right. Right, I'm going to leave the rubber gloves on while I turn this back, and I'm going to swap this mask for a better one. I'm going to turn the extractor on, and I'm going to wear a face mask, like a face shield. That should give me enough protection. Not quite sure what to do now. Do I continue going? Or shall I just quickly back something else in there and try again another time? It may be the fact it's too narrow, but they do it on fine pieces of furniture and it's very narrow on that. Maybe it's too hot, maybe it's too cold. Maybe I just haven't tried hard enough yet. All right, let's try some more. Right, well, that didn't go as planned. I was hitting the, I'll take the mask off now. I was hitting the inlay in the spoon with the little torch, blow torch, dropping it in, and then it just caught fire. So there's an upper limit when it goes past molten and then becomes flammable. So I am disappointed, but every day is a learning day. If you don't try new things, then you can't progress. So I'm going to try and clean this mess up the best I can. Put a little inlay in it, and then we'll bring you back in a second. Well, I'll clean it up first and then we'll bring you back. Well, the inlay didn't quite go as expected. Basically, it went badly, but it's only by trying new things that we get to learn and improve. So we'll let this dry overnight, we'll finish it off in the morning, and we'll still have a nice looking bowl. It's not the bowl we set off to make, but it'll still be a nice bowl. Right, I'll see you in the morning. I've got some tidying up to do. Okay, it's next morning. The milliput's gone off nicely. I wouldn't say it was a yellow, but it's just like an off-white, so we'll see how this looks. So we'll get this turned back, and then we shall start sanding and applying the finish. Couple more bits, but we'll get that with sand in. Right. As ever, I'll let you watch the first few bits of sanding, and then I'll let you go. I'll finish it off. I'll see you back here in a second. It's sanded up to 600. I've cleaned it off with isopropyl. I'm just going to use a bit of Yorkshire grit on it just to try and put a bit more shine on this surface before we polish it, because this is, with it being sapele, it has an amazing chatoyance in the wood, that kind of like colour changing shift in different lights. So as we have it, we may as well try and make the most out of it. Yep, that helped. Right, so take off the excess with more isopropyl. did a little bit of research last night when I finished up in the workshop, and from the mistakes I think I made on the Sulphur Inlay with the basically down to equipment. There's not many videos showing that technique on the internet. In fact, I can only find two. But in both cases, they're using very heavy duty like lead ladles that obviously must store a lot of the heat, which keep the molten sulphur, or keep the sulphur molten for longer while you're pouring it. So before I try it again, I'll have to invest in some better equipment. Kitchen spoons are probably not ideal, but again, you live and learn. If you've enjoyed today's video, please feel free to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. If you leave a comment as well, and when we get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to be giving away a handmade bowl, which won't be sulphur inlay. It doesn't cost you anything to like and subscribe. It only costs you a small amount of time to leave a comment. But you'll be doing me a huge favour, and I really do appreciate it. There we have it. Right, I'll take this off and have a closer look. So there we have it. It's not the video we started off to make, but it has turned out quite nicely. Sapele bowl with a resin inlay, not sulphur, shaped in the form of a blood vessel. Right. Well, thank you very much indeed for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.